Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. Now in this video is a very advanced video because we're going to talk about a few things I'm playing around with at the moment myself that are very advanced. So in fact, two of the three items I'm going to talk about in this video are not available on my website to purchase, but I just thought a bit of fun to also give you an awareness of how expansive Truly Holistic is, and that it's an ever-evolving service to humanity, to the souls out there in regards to assisting with your ascension, right? To have a successful ascension. And what I'm very proud about Truly Holistic is that it's an ever-evolving process, which really is a direct connection to what ascension really is, right? Ascension is about growth and evolvement. And what we tend to see with the human identity and the mind-thought pathway that humans use and following what we observe and then using thought process, time, all these things, which is a human construct, these are all things that are there put in place to limit you so that you won't ascend. Okay, so we talk about very, very expansive concepts about your ascension, and what we also have tended to find is that our ascension process, if you really want to authentically heal anything, present or return or maintain wellness and vitality, then you really want to get on this ascension route or pathway or journey, because what I've come to find, even in my own personal journey with resolving health problems, is that our ascension journey is the same as a wellness vitality journey. It's the same. If you want to authentically heal it, there's a lot of things out there that will say they work on healing it, but are very superficial. When really what we present here is not about superficial means, it's about going to the root of the origin of the problem. And that's why we work at such a deep level in regards to all these things. Now, let's get into the toys, right, that I've been playing around with. Now, the first toy that I've been playing with, we don't really even have a name for it so much. And this is it here. I've put the odd photo out there and post in a way that I kind of utilize this. So it's a little pad, right, it's made out of, we call this light technology, and this is just something I've coined that I make. And of course, in our products on my product store at Truly Holistic, we emphasize on tensor technology, right? This is a tensor ring, and being a physical anchoring in etheric energetics, right? So, which is brought through a qubit, right? And we found another way of doing that wasn't required. The tensor ring wasn't required to anchor it in. And we used crystal powders to do very much the same thing, where I could anchor etheric templates into this perceived physical plane or reality without the need of a tensor ring in doing it. So this here is, you can see the black, that's shungite crystal powder. And we've got here, obviously, a tree here. And this analogy of a tree is very important to me, right? There's the tree of life. There's the Yggdrasil tree, right, in regards to Norse mythology. And a map that I was guided to make, excuse me, the Ascension map is also uses that analogy of a tree. All right, the roots of the tree here, the soil, the trunk of the tree, and the branches, and then the foliage, right, the expression of that tree, which becomes the reality, the dimensions, universes, right? So that kind of symbology is very important to me. So we put that on there, and we've got gold mica crystal powder in there over that aspect of it too. And what I was able to do, and what we're able to do with this technology, is I was able to load it up with a lot of programming, right, and a lot of intentions, a lot of things that can be done. And the whole idea of making this was really about telepathy, right, which is not a head or mind-to-mind thing, it's a heart-to-heart connection. Because why we've tended to think that's a mind-to-mind thing, because that's what we're hardwired to become as the human, right? We get taught to become thinkers, so we think that a greater form of intelligence on a multi-dimensional, multi-reality, multi-universe level is obviously going to be the mind and the brain. But what we've come to find is actually the seat of the soul is the heart, and the pathway that facilitates, a quantum pathway that facilitates more of ourselves, right? Us as infinite consciousness, actually comes through the heart, not through the mind and not through the brain. And so we see this telepathy connection, and even just the word connection is aligned with the heart, not the mind and the brain. So when I wear this, I can just feel into something I want to get done. I don't even have to voice the intention, and it will get that job done. And we're kind of looking at that and perceiving that as a form of telepathy. So it's been wonderful using this product, right? Doing all sorts of things with it. A lot of the big intentions, clearings that we do in sessions are all programmed into this. So I just need to feel into what I need to do, and it will just get it done. So this is where our technology is going in regards to truly holistic, right? We're always trying to push forth. We're trying to evolve forth, because that's what Ascension is all about. And so what we just simply do here is there's a couple of copper clips here, and we just place it over there like that. And then we just use the hand over an area that we want to direct that energy, or you don't even have to do it. It's just heart to heart into that person you want to work on. What I generally use this for is, I have this chart on my wall, and I quite often have this device very close to it, and just every day or every few days I'll pick this up, put this on, and I'll just put my hand over it, and I essentially am working on my oneness as a multiverse, as an infinite consciousness, and I just feel into it, and it just directs me where to go, and just to transmute, neutralize, and harmonize what requires in regards to my oneness, so that we are all connected in one. Because really our true oneness is as a consciousness. We're here. Our role, our true purpose in being here is not really as the human and for humanity, it's for you as a consciousness. Because there is unwritten law that consciousness must evolve. And you as a consciousness wants to expand your creation. You're here to be expansive, but what we tend to see is the human, the way that you are hardwired and programmed through mind thought instead of heart feel, right? That facilitates more of you, is you become more limited as the human. That's not your true purpose. You're here to become expansive. So a lot of the things that we present truly holistic, whether it's within the session work, within the tools, the healing systems that we promote so you can become empowered to become healer yourself, is all about expansion into your capabilities of what you authentically are, not what you've been conditioned to be as the human, or to do, more importantly. So this has been fantastic, and I'm playing around with it. Obviously, a lot of these things we're working on, these eventually will become available. At the moment, as I say, a very advanced product that we're utilizing at the moment, but very exciting as well. Now, another thing that I've been playing around with is a particular trio set of rings. We don't have these we do have trio sets of rings on the product store, but not this one. And so I made them like this, as I was guided to. Because again, my soul, my consciousness guides me into what I need to do. So I place this and I wear them on the wrist, right? These 3 rings. Now, this 3 trio rings are really interesting, because it includes the 2 of the rings, or one of the ring includes the ether element, which is very expansive, because the roots of your authenticity, you as infinite consciousness, is what we call source. Right? There's not one source for everybody, right? There is your source of your energy, and your energy is unique. Okay. There's no other soul, right? Which your soul is is spliced from your original source, right, into all these different realities. Now, within this reality, this universe, your soul is unique. There's not another soul like it. But that same energy signature of you as a soul is shared and spliced within different realities, universes, dimensions. right? And which means that there are versions of you existing in other realities that you are connected to because you share the same energy signature with, right? We call that quantum entanglement. That's a quantum physics term. Anyway, one of the rings holds that ether element, which we call the eternity qubit. Now, keep that in your awareness, that word eternity. One of the rings holds the fire element, which is called the fire infinity qubit. And also the other qubit measure that for the other ring is called the infinite qubit, which is not part of an element, but it exists within this air element. Okay? Now, what I found really interesting of those three rings, right, the three qubits, is two of them have the word either infinite or infinity, and one holds eternity. So straight away I was like, wow, we're dealing with some pretty expansive energetics, and we are looking at the idealism and concepts of infinity and eternity. Okay? So while I've been wearing these rings, my auric field has expanded greatly. And our auric field, I don't believe in the nonsense that you hear auric field's just something that's 4 feet away from your body and it stays stationary like that. Your auric field is fluctuating dependent on whether your heart's open or not. Because the auric field, which is really your electromagnetic field, and our electromagnetic field, our most powerful electromagnetic field in the body is the heart. Way more, thousands of times more powerful than the brain. That's why it's just a joke, right, as the human in science, and they're just following, if you type the word consciousness on Google Images, you see a lot of heads, don't you? You see brains. Now that's misguiding you. That's not where your consciousness exists. Your consciousness exists through the heart, okay? Now, so this is very expansive energies. And as I say, the auric field is a measure of how open or closed your heart is. When your heart is open, right, and therefore you can present your expansion through the heart, right, all of this, that are you, then that expansion becomes present and represented here in this reality, which means your auric field expands out. Now, when our heart closes off because the mind's opening, right, and we're in the mind, following mind thought instead of heart feel, and we're facilitating and allowing another intelligence to guide and direct us, that's not us as the soul, then we'll see that our auric field shrinks in, it diminishes, which means that outside influence can have more an effect on you, right? And everything about your attention and how you use your energy is more consumed in what's going on out here instead of what you provide, which means you lose your self-awareness, which is really the word consciousness. So consciousness comes from here. That does not provide what we deem as the authenticity as the term consciousness itself. So very expansive energetic. So what I'm looking at here is with these trio set of rings is this understanding that we are bringing the greatest, most expansive depths of knowing or expansion that we know beyond you as a source. So see this tree as you, and see the soil, right, the fire element, the ether element, as the soil that feeds. Just like we see trees in this reality, right? There's that question, right, that with gravity, right? Why did the apple fall to the ground? Gravity. But if we take a step further back, how did the apple get there in the first place, right? And that then starts to present an aspect of levity, which never gets talked about. So every part of that tree needs nutrients coming from the soil. Same analogy here. So these elements, right, the fire and ether element, the energetics that we have holding into two of those three rings that I showed you, feeds your creation, feeds your consciousness, okay? So it's the most expansive aspect. And then the other ring that I mentioned, which is the infinite qubit, we use that to infinitely place our creation infinitely out into reality. So see, the two rings are presenting an input, right? Because as I say, all of this exists within you. at a quantum pathway that exists within you that is presented here through an open heart. I always like to use an analogy a bit like this, right? When we look at a spring water, that water is sitting in an aquifer deep within the earth. And that water needs to levitate to the surface to become a spring. Now see this as the aquifer, okay? And what enables this to levitate up to the surface, and the surface now is the heart, is an open heart, right? So therefore, it can be present and represented here. This is ascension, okay? And then, so we've got two rings. I'll just make sure we've got the right ones here. So we have those two rings that are that expansion that we're bringing up, and then we have the one that's got the infinite qubit to then use that expansion and expand it infinitely over this creation of this plane, this reality. Because that's what you're here to do. You're a creator of realities. So this is pretty expansive stuff. And obviously, with a lot of these products, we're learning more and more about them. And the more you wear them, the more you become one with them, the more you get programmed and get all these downloads to learn more about them and what you're capable of, okay, as a consciousness. Now, it's pretty exciting. And so far I've had information about these rings talking about longevity, this aspect that you're presenting so much energy into the body. You've got to remember that the body already knows how to rejuvenate, regenerate, and heal. It knows how to do that. There's nothing else that knows how to do that better. So you don't try and get in the way of it and think that you know best, which generally humans do. They get in their own way. Our role is to present a state of being, to open the heart. That's why we're here. And as I said at the start, right, our ascension process is the same as the process in becoming well and vital, our healing journey. Because what the body requires to provide and continually provide a process of rejuvenation, regeneration, healing is a material we call energy, right? And if we're bringing through more of ourselves as infinite consciousness, which is a reservoir of infinite energy and beyond, the body's got everything it needs to rejuvenate, regenerate, and heal itself in every moment. So how do you get ill, sick, and die then under that state? The answer is you can't. Right? So this really presents, this possibility. Because that's what you are. You're possibility. Well, as the human, you're conditioned to focus on probability, right? And limitations. To present longevity. That's just that. But what about the role of you as a soul, as a creative force? And creating a reality that's more in regards to what your heart desires, right? And all those aspects. So there's so much that's exciting about this trio set of rings. And at the moment, I've been wearing them for about a week or two so far. And I'm sure there'll be a lot more to learn. Obviously, these products are currently not on the website, as they are very advanced products that we're still learning about. But I was very excited to share some of the insight into these products for you. Now, the last product, I don't actually have them here with me, but they are on my product site. And I wanted to really make a special note to them because I think these are wonderful products. They're called the Manifestation Trio Set of Rings. The Manifestation Trio Set of Rings, you get 3 rings, and generally what they do is they reset your timeline. Okay? And why this is important, and also it's very advanced, but it's, we've been able to put them out there, and a lot of people have bought them, and everyone that's bought them loves them, is the fact that they reset your timeline. Now, you're probably asking, what do you mean timeline? Well, as we go about our life is about moments, not about a few moments that we count off like 4 or 5 moments that we can look back in our life and say, wow, it was worthwhile. Not that. I'm talking about being aware in every moment. the definition of being in the flow, going with the flow, a state of being, is to be fully aware and present in every moment, right? To squeeze the juice out of that lemon that is the moment, to get everything out of it, right? To fall in love with the moment. And because the more we're self-aware in that moment, the more we're self-aware of the choices and decisions we make as a creator. And that creator is for what you do in the moment forges what we deem as our future, our path, our journey that we are kind of creating the stepping stones at the same time as we walk upon it. So a key aspect on what that path will look like and what is going to be created is dependent on what guides us to make those decisions in the first place, right? Which is coming back to whether it's mind, thought, or heart feel. And as I said in this video, and like a lot of the videos, the seat of the soul is the heart, right? The facilitation of moral you is through the heart, not through the mind. But as the human, we get taught to become thinkers, which mean we adopt this, whatever this is, right? And I know what that is, but we're not going to get into great depth of it. It's just not you, right? And it's going to guide you to create a path to create more of the things you don't want instead of the things you do want, right? Which means you don't have a successful ascension. You don't ascend because your energy, your creative power is going into something else ascending, which is not you. Because thoughts is not you. The mind is not you. Okay. Why would you adopt something that always makes you doubt yourself? That's why I don't get it. I don't get it. Okay. The mind is always trying to trip you up, doubt yourself, give you negative thoughts, right? Conflict you. Always doing that. But at the end of the day, what does humanity do? It's my mind. I embody it. Why? It's not supporting you. Okay. So with these rings, when we are in mind thought, right, and it's guiding us to make decision choices, which is creating a timeline, a path, journey, future, we see that as branch timelines, right? Because it's creating miscreation, right? It's not creating what your heart desires, right? What you as a soul and consciousness, the purpose of you being here, right, to expand your creation, because you're not expanding your creation or your own consciousness. You're expanding some other intelligence creation or informing a reality in its image, not your own. We call that a miscreation, and what happens, we call them branch timelines because it branches off the line of path that you should be creating. We call that path that you should be creating your sacred timeline. Okay, so obviously the ultimate goal is to master your ability to open the heart and keep it open to allow your soul to guide your process pathway so you remain on that sacred timeline, which means that will end up you ascending. But for people that are not at that level of mastery of that, these rings are wonderful in that. And all you need to do is use it once a day, and it takes like 20 seconds or less to do it. And they're made up of 3 rings. 1 ring you place over what people deem the pineal gland or third eye. 1 ring you place over the heart area, and 1 ring you place on the ground, which is the grounding ring you place between your feet. And what these 3 rings do, when you place it, place one there, one between your feet on the ground, it resets your timeline by removing your energy away from those branch timelines, which means those branch timelines are pruned, because for everything to be materialized on this physical plane, it needs energy. Right? This is why I say to people, if something's bothering you or it's something you don't like, first thing you do is you take your power away from it, which is your energy, which is your place of attention. Okay? Because your place of attention, which that eye is part of those 3 eyes, which is your place of attention. And what are we conditioned to be as the human? To follow these eyes, right? Which lead us astray because it sees nothing, doesn't get even close to seeing 1% of what can be seen, where this eye can take you over that wall to present the bigger picture along with the heart. This is why those 2 things are very much key. And then you ground that, right? That's where the grounding ring comes into. So we remove that energy away from the branch timelines, which means we no longer invest a path leading to an outcome that is not in the highest good for us. Instead, that energy gets put back on your sacred timeline, leading you in the right direction to ascend. So that's what those manifestation trio rings do. They're wonderful. And there's not a product like that out there. You know, I see so many tense rings created by people that are using the old energetics, right? The loss, the sacred cubit, the empowerment cubit line. And they're just then cut and pasting information that originally came from Slim, which is showing that these people don't really know the ins and outs of what they're creating. Okay. Here at Truly Holistic, we don't use any of those energetics. We don't use any of these qubits. All the qubits, the energetics, that's being facilitated through me to support and provide our ability to have a successful ascension, to provide wellness and vitality. Okay? They are tools, they're training wheels to get you there. And that's how we utilize them here at Truly Holistic. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video, right? To give you some greater insight into what Truly Holistic's all about. And we're always looking to strive forward. Be a pioneer in this movement in regards to ascension, for wellness and vitality, in regards to quantum technology, heart technology, consciousness, cutting edge. And I just wanted to show you that in regards to this video about some of the exciting developments that have been going down here at Truly Holistic. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and also consider subscribing to the channel for further content like this. I've got a number of videos on there, so much more content to come out. And if you have any questions or anything about any of the work that I do here, please post them below. If you're interested in booking Ascension for either healing or greater insight into reality and your part in what you are and who you are in regards to reality and your ascension, go to my website at trulyholistic.net/appointments/ to book an appointment. If you're interested in some of the tensor and light products that we do have on my product store, as I say, 2 of the products that I've shown you here are not currently on the product store, but the manifestation trio that resets your timeline is, and a number of others. Go to my product store, which is trulyholistic.net/products/. I'll put the links in the description below. Until next time, catch you later.